Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio. I've got another quilt on the machine, and this is the Tulip Applique Quilt, and I wanted to show you a little bit about that, a little bit closer up. Okay, here's the quilt, and I went ahead and I put another border on it. I felt it just needed something a little bit more. These are the blocks that I hand appliqued, and this is my own design, and I just drew kind of a tulip shape and just put the center because I wanted this to kind of contrast a little bit with the outer part of the tulip. And so they're just very simple shapes, and they're just layered, and then we have, you know, the background piece and then the sashings. So you know, I think it looks okay, and it was just a project that I started for a class that I was teaching on how to do invisible machine applique. So there is one block in here that is machine appliqued. I don't see it, it isn't here on this section, so it's down further in the quilt. But I do have this quilt loaded sideways on the machine. I did that because I have a seam in my backing, so I also pieced my backing as well as my batting, and I always like my backing seams to go this direction, because if they go this way, as you roll the quilt up in the machine on the take-up roller, that seam is going to cause a hump there, and you're going to have it's going to be harder for you to get even tension all the way across on your fabric on your quilt. So it causes a problem. So I always put my seam this direction, and that seems to take care of it. So I'm going to have to do this kind of sideways, but it's really not going to be too much of a problem because I don't plan on doing anything elaborate on this quilt. Of course, I said that on the last one, and then I chose a design that took quite a bit of time to do. Even though it wasn't a difficult design, it took a lot of measuring and ruler work to get it done, so that caused the time to add up. So okay, so my next plan is I'm going to line this up with my horizontal stitch line here where I stitched on my batting. This is my partial float. You've heard me talk about this a couple of times. I don't do a full float. This quilt top is connected to my quilt top leader, which is down here on the machine. It's underneath the belly bar, but I don't hook it up here to the take-up bar. I'm going to line this up, I've got a center mark here. I'll line that up, pin this down, and then I will baste it down, and then that's how I do my partial floats. So I've got tension on the top and the bottom of the top, and that helps me keep the quilt top square. Okay, I'm going to work on this outer border first, and that's typically what I do is I quilt the outer border first, and then I work my way in on the border. So I'm going to go ahead and use white thread on this entire quilt. I think it's going to blend in okay because there's white in everything. So I'm going to start down at the corner. I've already got myself stabilized, or my thread secure here. So I'm going to do a leaf border, and I'm going to do this all the way around, and so I'll be rolling the quilt as I go. So I'm going to see how much I can get on video, and then I'll adjust the camera when I get to the side so maybe I can see a little bit better. I'm going to go around this corner. Instead of putting a leaf in the corner, I'm just going to make a loop and go on through that corner there, and it just makes it a little bit easier for me. And I don't know if you can see, but I just did a loop around, or an arc around, and then did my leaf, and then I'm going to go to the next one. Do another leaf. Got the outer border done, and that's just a leaf vine that's going all the way around. And I've got this first row of sashing done, and what I've done is a loop. So I'm just doing a big loop in here with 4 loops, and then I'm doing a crosshatch in the cornerstones. And next thing I'm going to do is work on this block, and I'm going to do some stitching around the applique, and I'm just going to start here at the stem. Now if you're really good at stitching around applique, you probably don't need a ruler. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but for today I'm going to go ahead and use a ruler to kind of help get me going here. And as I get more comfortable, I may set it aside and just do without. So this is a handy Versa-Tool, and it's got several different curves on it. And I'm using the big circle or the half circle here on this side and just go around my applique. Get my thread tails out of the way, and then I'm going to switch over to the straight side and go down, and then I'm going to go around this petal. And actually, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do my veining in this leaf. I should have done that over here, but I didn't think about it at the time, so I have to go back and pick that up and get my thread tails cut off, and I'm going to do my veining. And just go on up and then go around it. I'm going to switch back to my tool and just turn it where I'm comfortable with it. Now I can go in and do the vein here. And I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to do my quilting within the tulip, and I'm just going to do some petals in here. And this one didn't turn out perfect, but it'll give you the idea. Now, if you do what I do and you didn't get it the way you like it, you can always rip it out and redo it, or you can just leave it. And at the moment, I'm going to leave it and keep on quilting, and then I may go back and fix it later. But I'm going to adjust the camera, see if you can see that a little closer. There's the petal shapes in there. And here's a closer look of the veining. And that leaf right there. So that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm going to do the background to this block. And so let me back up again so you can see a little better as I'm doing this. I'm hoping you can see this. The lighting seems to be a little strange today. So let me go around and get started on that. I'm kind of keeping an organic feel in this quilt, so not a lot of straight lines. It's going to be more flowy lines in here, and I'm going to start here again so I can kind of hide that stop and start. So these are just a lot of tendrils. They're not full out swirls. They're branching a little bit more than that. Okay, that's done. And I will adjust the camera, get a little closer view. Okay, here's the finished block. And you can see there's just little tendrils quilted in through here. They're not big swirls, they're just little tendrils. So it gives it kind of an organic look. I could put them in real heavy. I could have scooted an extra one in here, and each block is going to look different, and it's really not over. The overall look is what's going to be important, not each individual block. So I think it's going to be fine, but I may come back in here and put a little extra one in here. But this is one of those designs that you can make really tiny if you want it more heirloom quality, or you can make it loose like this. You could even make it more loose if you want, but they're just little tendrils. You could throw extra things in here. You could put a little flower, you could put a swirl in here, you could put pebbles. There's lots of different things that you could do. So let me see if I can get a good view of the sashing here for you. Okay, the sashing is basically, I just did cross hatch, and then I came in and then I just looped right in here, and that's all that's in there. And then I would just come back and do another cross hatch here, and then just keep on going. So the designs in this quilt are very simple. There's not a whole lot to what I'm doing here, but it's a good it's good practice, because you're working on some applique, you're doing some stitch in the ditch, you've got lots of curvy lines, and you've got a little bit of straight line quilting in there. So this is a good beginner project for you to do, and you'll get a really nice look. And I think it's something that would look good on any quilt that you do. So things don't have to be elaborate, they don't always have to be heirloom quality. And I think just, do what you like. And I kind of like to alternate my projects. I will do something that's pretty intense on one quilt, and then the next couple quilts I want to do something simple like this. I still want it to look nice, but I just don't want to put all those hours in it. I just got finished with a Hawaiian quilt, and that quilt was on the machine for a month, and that was just a really long time. And even though I liked the quilt, by the time I got done quilting with it, I was ready to wrap it up and put it aside, because I had just been working on it for so long. And that's just what comes from choosing a design that's kind of labor intensive. So I'm going to continue quilting, and I'll do some more video and see if there's anything else in there that I can point out. Okay, I have the first row completed except for the sashing on this side, but I've got the border and the bottom and the left side of the sashing are all completed. So there's the tendril quilting in the background, had the veins in the leaf, and then here I have the petal shapes and the tulip right there. So those are all done. Got the loops in here and the crosshatch and the cornerstones. So I am getting there. I only have 2 more rows to go, so this quilt should be done pretty quickly. Hopefully I'll get this done tonight. There's just been a lot of noise around here with the air conditioner running, and my husband decided to work on the brick at the front of the house, and now he's done with that and he's mowing, so there's noise going on everywhere. The only thing that isn't going on is I don't have laundry going at the moment. So anyway, here we are so far, and I'm going to just continue quilting, and hopefully I will get this done tonight.
Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my newest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.